Hei og hå folkens og vent og velkommen tilbake til en ny video. Mitt navn Bluedude og vi skal fortsette på Stanley Parable Deluxe Edition. For episode så tok vi alle de gale valgene for å si sånn, men i dag så tenker jeg at jeg skal gjøre alle de rette valgene da. Men jeg har nå også lyst til å komme meg til det nye valget her da, så finne ut hvordan vi skal gjøre det. Så kan vi da gå inn her. Men jeg har, som jeg sa, jeg har lyst til å ta de rette valgene. Jeg har lyst til å bare liksom gå gjennom det originale spillet for en gang skyld. Noe som jeg allerede gjorde. Jepp, da skal vi ta alle de rette valgene og se hva som skjer. For jeg kan ikke helt huske. Tips for not getting fired. Talkless. Med meg. Do not unbelievable make work. Ok. Sånn kontor... Office, du kan bare gå videre. Boom closet. Jeg husker det var noe med dette rommet her også.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Det noe spennende i rommet her. Det noe broom her. Kost.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Det jo sant, det jo sant. Men det jo så mye spennende og kult her. Det tape her, det jo sånn French og boks, og det sånn kult å se på ting av og til.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Sweet FA.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vi går opp til kontorssjefen selv. Tror jeg den åpnet, men her har vi noe fint du. Sector bathroom. To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crime, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. Hehe. Du kan gjøre kontoret her. Der. Så du kan se dere her. Nei. Det bildet der. Det blir jo så masse du kan trygge på å gjøre det, men jeg skal egentlig bare gjøre alt det rette.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Hva var det siste? Husker du kunne gjenta det du sa? Please.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Thank you.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Spennende. Det så lurt å gå inn i det mørke der, du? Ok, det ser ut som det eneste vei. Ikke det tull her, kanskje? Nei, ok. Det trygt. Det virker så mørkt at det så ut som at det ikke var et gulv her. Noe å stå på, altså.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Skjønner du tror denne heisen har tatt sin siste heisatur, for å si sånn?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ja, jeg har lyst til at noen skal ta kontroll over hjernen min. Sure, hvorfor ikke? Folk kan ta mine valg for meg. Det har bare vært deilig det da. Men det har også vært sine ulemper det
The
også.
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
Gjorde det?
Did he have the strength to find out?
Det ser vi nå her. Det skal vi nå se på.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Hva var kontoret mitt her? Hva var det nummeret? Det husker jeg ikke, altså. Var det 4 noe? Så jeg husker ikke.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Det er godt mulig.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Mind controls, idly waiting input. Du skal vi trykke på noe her. Trykke på knapper. Det er jeg god på. Jeg er god til å trykke på knapper. System power off.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Har det?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking.
Jeg tror det var en sånn form for kuttscene nå, siden det åpner så sakte.
Had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Det gjorde jeg.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ja. Sånn hyggelig avslutning på hvordan hvis du tar de rette valgene her, i forhold til hvis du går din egen vei. Men jeg lurer på, altså det er en veldig kort video hvis jeg skal bare avslutte her nå. Så tenker vi skal hoppe opp på det nye innholdet i spillet, som er her. New content. Hello.
Oh, new content?
Yeah.
What does that mean, new content?
New content som er et nytt sted vi kan gå og utforske. Hvor er vi på vei egentlig?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
10 år siden det?
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe,
Ja.
a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Aha. Deilig.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
New
Please
content.
step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
La oss se, inn I heisen,
Okay,
og se.
so far it's an elevator.
Ja.
Nothing special yet,
sant.
but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Eventyr, ut på eventyr, blir vi alle sur. Ta-da. Skal det være feisen der beveger på seg, kanskje?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we
Burde-
be moving somewhere? Or...
Ja.
Oh, there we go.
Der, ja.
All right, finally,
tok sin
at
tid.
long last, it's on to the new
Kanskje
content.
bare
I've
lag-
never been
bare-
more ready. Let's
Kan
do
vet.
it.
Skal vi se. Hva?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious.
Ja,
It's as if
sant.
them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content,
Yeah,
Stanley.
la oss utforske dette nye stedet. Det virker ganske dumt.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Skal vi hoppe? Jump. Ah. Har jeg fått nok til å hoppe? Jeg kan jo hoppe videre. Eller hoppe videre, sier jeg. Altså gå videre. Men jeg har lyst til å se her. Hva som skjer hvis jeg tar gå ned på 0?
A few moments later.
Ok, nå kan jeg ikke hoppe mer. Jeg har brukt opp alle hoppene mine. Bare på... Ok.
Is that it?
Det virker sånn.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Det må det være. Hva... Gir meg ikke lov å hoppe. La oss gå videre da. Det virker som det er alt vi kan gjøre her. En ny heis. La oss se hvor den
Goodness,
heis høres til.
another elevator.
Yeah.
Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
du
If this is
sier
new
noe der.
content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more.
Er det mer?
Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else.
Spennende.
Let's see it.
En sofa.
I'm ready
Jeg kan
for
sitte I.
whatever it is.
Det er godt å sette seg ned og bare avslutte her. Ok, jeg kan bevege oss videre. Det var sånn lysbygg eller noe sånt, et eller annet. I don't know. Thank you for joining.
That's
What?
it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore."
Yeah.
What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold
Twitter.
them personally accountable.
X heter
It's
det nå
my fault,
faktisk.
Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game?
La oss gjøre det.
And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
La oss gjøre det.
No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Hei.
What do you say, friend?
La oss gjøre det. Let's do it! Et nytt sted, ser jeg. Men jeg tenker vi skal gjøre det I neste episode, for jeg tror lurer på om jeg har nok content til en video her. Jep, jeg satser på det. Så får vi utforske dette her nye stedet I neste episode. Så hvis du er ny til kanalen, må du selvfølgelig abonnere. Del om kommentar, trykk på tommel opp. Sett noe så pris på, så inntil neste gang, folkens, snakkes på det. Hei ho!
Yo, listen up, here's a story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day